All right, everyone, we're going to talk about the 2022 midterm elections. Is it going to be a red wave or a red tsunami? Because those are the only two realistic outcomes to these elections, unless the Democrats pull a bunch of shenanigans again. As we know, they did uh, to a very large extent previously. So you had that scumbag, illegitimate White House resident give a speech today, you know, a week out from the midterm elections. And if this administration had any accomplishments, if they had done anything positive for the electorate, he would have got up there and enumerated all the things that he's done, all the accomplishments they have, and how life is so much better for all of us than it was prior to him taking office. But that dementia, senile, riddled old man who wasn't a rocket surgeon to begin with got up there and basically talked about the 2020 election being the most legitimate election of all time, which we know is a crock of crap. He talked about J6, which has nothing to do with anything. And then he blamed the MAGA Republicans and Donald Trump. Now, what I don't think this numbnuts realize is that there could be people who are MAGA that are not Republicans, independent people who want to make America great again and who do want to put America first. Why wouldn't you want to put America first? And then this idiot, the first thing that he come out and talk about was, Mr. Pelosi, and according to numbnuts, Mr. Pelosi was attacked by a ultra MAGA right wing violent insurrectionist, and it was parallel to what happened on J6 with this asshole. I'm sure Joe Biden doesn't know anything. The guy had a dumbass look on his face, like he doesn't know what the hell's going on, and he's just staring off into space half the damn time. This guy, I don't think he knew his ass from a hole in the ground back when he still had all his faculties. And now he sure as hell doesn't know shit from Shinola. But anyways, he conveniently leaves out all the facts that this dude, who's probably just mentally not all there, and is he a leftist or a right winger? Who knows? Who cares? I don't think either. Whatever his political affiliations were really motivated this, because if you take a look at the situation and don't listen to lamestream media talking about it, this looks like, Mr. Pelosi, when the cat's away, Mr. Pelosi's going to play. Back in, what was it, May? He gets a DUI. And now last week, he went to some gay bar and picked up some dude, took him back to the Love Shack. Conveniently, all the security cameras, there's no footage whatsoever, and the body cam of the popo is not going to be released, so this is obviously covering up the truth. But Paul goes to the gay bar, gets liquored up, picks up this dude, and maybe two dudes, because every time you turn around, the story's changing. I mean, if your average random person off the street changed their story as much as this, they'd be sent up the river real quick. But we got a two-tiered legal system going on in this country, or multi-tiered, and Paul Pelosi's in the protected class. So Paul Pelosi, gets done up the ass or does the dude up the ass, one of the two. And then when it comes time to pay the guy off or give him the drugs you promised him back at the homo bar, you decide not to do it. So the guy gonna hammer you again, this time literally. Calls the popo and the cover up begins. So Joe Biden introed that speech with that, and he talked about how 2020 was the safest, securest election that ever happened, when we all know it's the exact opposite of that. And then he talked about J6. So he teed up the fact that, the same old bullshit talking points this asshole and fucking Jen Psaki and the black lesbian and all the other scumbags of this administration get out there and spouting, the threat to democracy. Well, all that shit they say, we all know it's a Democrat Party, which is now a communist party, because they've been overran, right? If you were a Democrat in the 80s, you're basically now what a Republican is. If you were a normal person 10, 15 years ago, now you're a Nazi, you're a fascist, and all the accusations that they love to throw about. Because it's, as people often say, that they're confession through projection. It's an old fucking lefty tactic to accuse your political opponents of what you're guilty of. The biggest election denier there is in this country, and has been for the last several years, is Hillary Clinton, the biggest scumbag on the face of the earth, possibly. I'm sure she's in the top 10, but she's a fucking low-life scumbag. She just, her and all her minions who are now in this current administration, the whole Russia thing, a complete fucking hoax, and they totally gaslighted the world for, 6 years, for a spy on Trump before, during, and after his presidency and the 2016 election. Susan Abrams, that fucking black whale of a bitch, she's been denying her loss forever as well. The biggest election deniers are Democrats. But because they got the lamestream media as their propaganda arm, they feel free reign to do and say whatever they want. And I guess, everyone on Twitter thought that numbnuts from South Africa was going to save the day, but he's already backtracking on some stuff. And I said it months ago. If he ends up buying this shit, he might make some improvements, but people, don't get your hopes up, because Elon Musk is not a conservative. I don't know what he is. Elon Musk is for Elon Musk. And he ain't, he claims to be, I'm a free speech absolutist. I don't know what the hell the guy is. But I said I didn't trust him. And we'll see how that plays out. But they're already putting something on Twitter about counting all the votes is going to take several days and all this bullshit. Well, every state runs its own election, so each state should be able to count their votes, right? I mean, you got countries that handle it and they get the votes counted in one day. Now, granted, I know that those countries maybe don't have the population that some of our larger states have, or they don't. Also, I think what some of these countries do is they don't have this huge ballot with multiple offices on it and state measures and county measures, and they got one item on the ballot. I think over there in France is my understanding. But there's a lot of reform we need in our elections here, and definitely need to get rid of all this bullshit mail-in balloting. Go back to what it used to be for people that are military, because they're out of the country, or people that live out of the country, or a very few sprinkling of people who are legitimately, you know, unable to leave their home because they're sick or disabled or something. But, you know, a state like where I live, California, I think everyone gets a goddamn mail-in ballot. But Democrats love to have it because they know it opens the door for them to pull their shenanigans. You know, oh, the Republicans are the voter suppression and they're racist. Who the fuck's a racist here? The Democrats are saying that black folk don't know how to go to the fucking DMV and get an ID. I mean, I've seen black people at a hotel, on an airplane, and doing all kinds of things that require an ID. So don't tell me that voter ID caused a problem for them. It's just complete and utter bullshit. But, you know, I think that, I don't know if it's going to be a red wave or a red tsunami, but you would think and here's the thing, if people are paying slightest amount of attention, they don't even have to be paying attention to politics. They just got to be paying attention to what they're paying at the gas pump or at the grocery store. I mean, things are bad right now. They're only going to get worse. And I don't know how this election's going to go. I would think it's going to be at least a red wave, if not a red tsunami, unless, like I said, the shenanigans is in effect. But I don't think these leftists, if they lose to a fucking tsunami, you're going to see, the Democrat Party militant arm, Antifa, BLM, what it is, Jane's Revenge and Ruth Sent Us, all those types. They're going to be doing their typical shit that they always do, destruction and violence. Oh, yeah, but I get all worked up here. Potato Head up there talking about political violence. And he gives an example that's not even political violence, it's just a nutcase. I'm not saying there's no political violence on the right side, but we all know numerous examples of violence from the left. Democrats never condemn. Well, I won't say never, but in general, they don't condemn it. And, these fucking, what do you call these establishment Republicans? It was nothing but the fucking little bitches for the Democrats, most of these. And that's why you got a bunch of MAGA candidates running in all these different states, because people are sick of this shit. They're sick of the Democrats destroying the country. They're sick of the Republicans going along with it and being controlled opposition. So, I mean, did any of you watch this, that Fetterman guy? That guy got a stroke a few months back. There's another guy that don't know his ass from the hole in the ground. And I'm not saying if you had a stroke, you can't serve in office because, different strokes for different folks. Some strokes cause paralysis in a body part, and some strokes might affect your cognitive abilities. And this guy was either a moron to begin with, or his stroke definitely affected his brain functioning. I mean, the guy can't get a freaking sentence out. I mean, when I saw him a couple months back, I was like, man, this guy's an idiot. I didn't know he had a stroke. And the more I heard him, the more I realized there's something wrong with this guy. And then I hear that he had a stroke. I think it was in May. His campaign crew covered it all up, just like the Democrats love to cover up all this other bullshit. Check out Darren Beatty, I think his name is. He's showing footage of the fucking January 6th pipe bomber guy, and he's comparing the frame rate compared to a bunch of other videos. And there's obviously some shenanigans going on with that. I think this country's fucking jumped the shark a while back, and it's gonna take a lot of work, and I don't think it's gonna happen to get back to where this country once was with its fucking integrity, the freedoms we used to have. I'm not saying that the government in this country was ever completely transparent and not corrupt, but I think we had a pretty good run there for a pretty good amount of time. But the corruption, and now we got the communists taking over, and they're doing everything they can to just hold on to power because that's all they care about is power. And you got millions of useful idiots in this country backing all their crap. And as far as I'm concerned, unless I see some major changes, this country's over as far as being the free country with the all. I mean, we got proof that just came out recently, further proof of how the government's been working with big tech to censor people. I mean, the First Amendment don't mean shit. All the fucking COVID bullshit that happened, people couldn't even go to the fucking house of worship. I'm an agnostic atheist. I don't go to church. I haven't been to church in I don't know how long. I think the only time I ever go to a house of worship is for a wedding or a funeral. I mean, I was raised Catholic, but I haven't had a belief in God since I was 10 years old. You know, and I say I'm agnostic atheist, and people might say, well, which one is it, one or the other? It's both. Because when I say I'm atheist, it means I don't believe in God. That doesn't mean I say there is no God. There might be. I just don't believe there is. Now, agnostic means I don't know. So one's talking about knowledge, the other's talking about belief. I don't know if there's a God. I think there's probably maybe something that we don't understand because there's a lot of shit we don't understand. Is one of those things a God, a power, a force, a higher being, a higher something? I don't know. It's possible. But how'd I get off on that tangent? But yeah, so these races coming up on these elections in a week, how could, I mean, and the polls, another thing, all these polls, the polls are not designed to reflect public opinion. Polls are designed to affect public opinion because either we got a country of morons, and yes, I think we probably do have a shit ton of morons in this country, but I don't think we have as many morons that would elect Joe Biden with the number of votes that they claim he got. And I'm probably going to get fucking banned on this video, knowing YouTube, but whatever. I'll upload it to Rumble also. If Fetterman beats Oz, if Kerry Lake and Blake Masters lose in Arizona, I don't buy that for a second. It just doesn't make any sense that enough people are going to vote for their opponents when you see the destruction going on in this country, the crime rate, the economy, inflation. We got a fucking war that we're fighting in Ukraine. And I heard something within the last few days that, they confirmed that the U.S. has boots on the ground in Ukraine now. No shit, Sherlock. I said in a video long duck dong time ago, probably when this war first started, I said, there ain't no way in hell that there isn't CIA and special forces types from the U.S. and probably Britain, the U.K., over there in the Ukraine. There's no way the Ukrainian military is going to be able to do the stuff it did against the Russians. And obviously the Russian army is not what everyone thought it was, but it's as plain as day. I mean, you don't have to be some type of military expert to figure this shit out, And then that whole fucking Nord Stream pipelines that got blown up. Saw something the other day that it was apparently the UK did it. Well, the UK did it at the fucking direction of the US. And some of these races that we got coming up, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you know, I can't believe that DeSantis doesn't destroy whoever his opponent is, and Doug Mastriano for governor of Pennsylvania. Supposedly that's a close race. He should be blowing whoever he's running against out of the water. That Hochul, whatever that, the current governor of New York, she's up there at the debate asking her opponent, was it Lee Zeldin, why are you obsessed with crime? Because everyone's getting fucked up. You look at the fucking videos. I, for one, considering where I live, I don't go out and about much at all anymore. Because I don't want to have to fucking defend myself against some scumbag and looking the way I look. If my assailant don't look like me, I'm going up the river because, us evil whiteys. So I stay home most of the damn time. And I don't even want to be out and about, considering where I live is dangerous. And you still got morons. I just got back home a little while ago, went to grab some food. It's just some idiot walking around outside all by himself. No one within 100 freaking feet of this idiot. And what is he wearing? The guy's masked up. And you see it all the time over here in LA. Idiots in a car all by themselves driving around with their masks on. Buffoons, morons, idiots. I can't wait to get the hell out of here. But due to my current situation, my cost-benefit analysis, I got to stick around for a while. But, the 2020 election, 2022 midterms, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Is it going to be a red wave, a red tsunami, or is there going to be shenanigans and the victory isn't going to be as resounding as everyone seems to think that it's going to be for the Republicans? And now let's say that it is a red wave or a red tsunami. Republicans take over the House and Senate. Those chicken shit, spineless, uniparty, sellout scumbags, I doubt they're going to do anything that they should be doing. If they do, they got to be impeaching people left and right. And all that is, who are the idiots that are tweeting out, oh, if the Republicans take power, they shouldn't do these investigations and blah, blah, blah. At what point do you fight fire with fire, people? Some of these idiots, hopefully all the MAGA candidates win and we start seeing some results. You got to impeach everyone from Camel Toe and Biden to the Mayorkas jackass, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, the Homeland Security ass wipe. We need to just clear these people out, And people, don't impeach Biden because then we get Kamala. I don't care. Impeach her too. But anyways, folks, I think I'm going to stop the rambling and let me know what you think about the midterms. Is it going to be red wave, red tsunami, or is there going to be a bunch of shenanigans going on? We're already hearing people fucking saying bullshit like, oh, we're not going to know who won this race or that race the day of. They're already setting the table to pull their shenanigans. And then when the fucking people bitch and complain about it, oh, you're an insurrectionist. And that fucking asshole Biden got up there and saying it's un-American to question elections and it's unlawful too. Well, then lock up all your fucking buddies, potato head. Anyways, folks, I'm going to end it here. Thanks for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. And let me know down in the comments what you think is going to happen in a week.